So we've got people lined up for questions. I just got one more, because you used the word Christian. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
That's a tough question. I don't think in terms of, I'm a religious person. Shockingly, because people are so shocked when they find this out, I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian. And I go to church and I love God and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor. The Power of Positive Thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman, and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor. The Power of Positive Thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He was so great. He would give a sermon you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons, and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real life situations, modern day situations, into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, you know, he passed away, but he was a great, he wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
Quotesанdarticles.com presents 7 core lessons from The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. The Power of Positive Thinking has sold more than 7 million copies worldwide. It has also been translated into 15 languages. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale was an American minister and author of several books.
In the author's own words, this book is written with the sole objective of helping the reader achieve a happy, satisfying, and worthwhile life. Norman Vincent Peale. Lesson number 1. Believe in yourself. You can be successful and happy by developing reasonable confidence in your own powers. Self-confidence leads to self-realization and successful achievement. When you believe in yourself, you will be able to release your inner powers. And, when your personality is inclined towards positivity, you start to draw success towards you.
Why do I have to, repent? Why do I have to ask for forgiveness if you're not making mistakes? I work hard. I'm an honorable person. I have thousands of people that work for me. I've employed tens of thousands of people over the years.
You give millions to charity.
I built the Vietnam Memorial in Lower Manhattan with a small group of people.
I don't know if there's any stopping the Trump bandwagon at this point, but if there is any stopping it, then it's going to be in just laying it out there and saying, look, this is the deal. And people were reluctant to do that for 7 or 8 months, and that's why we ended up in this situation. And I especially think that that's what we need to do with Christians who just need to snap out of it. That's the only. That's
well, he's winning with Christians, and so one part of in your piece you talk about the prosperity aspect. Now, this is one of the topics in your article that I kind of agree with. I talked about it with Glenn before about how prosperity preachers, they talk about money and growing in wealth. And do you see this same thing happening with Trump? Maybe people are saying, he's rich, Trump can make me rich. What say you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. There are 2 aspects that I talk about in the article. Like I said, just trying to analyze why have Christians fallen in with him. And the first aspect is the compartmentalization of our faith and how we sort of pretend that our faith just belongs in church, and then when we go and do other things, like we go to the voting booth, well, we're not Christians there. We shouldn't be Christians in that context. But the second is the prosperity gospel, and I think that this has been a very dangerous heresy that it's caught on with a lot of people. And even if they're not familiar with the term prosperity gospel, or they don't know about some of the prosperity heretics like Creflo Dollar and Joel Osteen and those guys, still the basic idea that God will bless us with earthly possessions and wealth and power if we love him enough. That's something that I think a lot of Christians believe. And so they look at someone like Donald Trump and they say, well, look at how much power and money he has, and look at his gold-plated helicopters and his private jets with golden faucets in the marble bathrooms, and they say, well, obviously God really loves Donald Trump. This is a sign of a virtuous man. And so I think that's why that plays into it a little bit.
Does it matter anything about his faith as a whole? I mean, he's made comments saying 2 Corinthians. I know that was kind of funny. But one of the things that has really sticked out to me is that he openly said he doesn't ask for forgiveness. And as a believer myself, that concerns me because that's an essential part of, our faith. What are Christians seeing? Because he's winning, by the way. He's winning with Christians. The guy doesn't ask for forgiveness. Why? Is he really a man of faith? Aren't Christians seeing that?
No, he's absolutely not a man of faith. I think that's entirely clear. Just because you say you're a Christian, Jesus said that not everyone who says Lord, Lord, will be invited into heaven in the end, and some he'll look at it and say, depart from me, I never knew you. Now, I can't say that that's going to happen with Donald Trump, but I do know, generally speaking, if you don't believe that you need to ask for forgiveness, if you don't believe in sin, if you believe that you're a perfect person, even despite the fact that you admit to being, among other things, an adulterer, then there's no way that you could be invited into heaven, because you're rejecting Christ, you're rejecting God. I mean, this is a central tenet of the Christian faith is sin, and the fact that we are a fallen species, and so we need to reach out to God for forgiveness, because we are a sinful, weak people. We all are. Anyone who fundamentally denies that as a Christian says, in principle, I deny that. I am not sinful. I think that's someone who's going to have a difficult conversation with God when Judgment Day comes.